Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to add complexity to our BJJ sit-up. The term BJJ sit-up does not mean that we are directly replicating any moves from BJJ. We use the term BJJ sit-up because we are replicating the muscle firing patterns that people will use in get-ups in various types of martial arts, wrestling-based arts. We call it BJJ because that's what most people do. We could call it Greco-Roman. It's just a longer name, and I don't know anybody who does Greco-Roman wrestling post-college. Our BJJ sit-up is based on our flat back pullover sit-up, which is a just basic body weight sit-up. 2 feet flat on the ground, get down, pull your rib cage in, get your lower back to touch the ground first, then relax the upper back, get all the way up and extend the spine at the top. The extend the spine part at the top can move in or out of the coaching cues depending on what's going to come after it. We're putting the extension at the top here because we're putting the kettlebell on one side of our body. Starting from our seated position, 2 heels on the ground, lift the chest up towards the sky, elbow inside the knee. When we get down, elbow touches the belly, lower back touches down, extend the arm up until it locks out. When we sit up, we are going to rock our way up, lift our chest to the sky. Now we're going to add one step to this movement. We're going to add our shin box rotation to this movement so that we are adding load to an eventual get up here. Get back to the center, get all the way down, lock out the arm, sit all the way up, extend the spine at the top, get to the other side. One side is usually harder for people than the other side. It's usually this side. If your knees are going opposite the kettlebell, that side is usually easier for most people because the weight is driving over that rear hip, which is the mobility that we are looking to improve. When we go to the other side, the weight is driving down on the opposite hip, and it's encouraging this hip to lift up. That's what we are trying to avoid. Sit back in it, lift the spine up. If you have to, grab that rear leg with the hand, pull it in to try to settle that hip into the ground. Back to the center, get all the way down, sit up, and rotate to one side. We're trying to improve our shin box position with this exercise. There are better ways to make your abs fire harder, but we are not trying to just make our abs fire as hard as possible. If we wanted to do that, we would just do a pullover sit-up with a 65-pound plate or something. What we are trying to do is integrate the sit-up back into a get-up. Sit-ups are really small parts of get-ups. Many people have forgotten that, and they think that a sit-up exists all on its own. A sit-up exists to help you learn to get back up from the ground and to help you not get your head slammed into the ground when you go down fast. The whole point of pushing our lower back down as we do this is we are learning to keep our head from slamming into the ground by learning to contract these muscles in the front of our body. So we are learning to decelerate and keep our head up off the ground. Then to get up and start building into other types of get-ups as we go forward. In kettlebells, we tend to have the classic, the Turkish Getup, which is the one that everybody learns first, but that causes you to put one hand on the ground and get up using that one hand. We're starting to build into the no hand series of get-ups here, where we are getting up without the use of our hand and relying on the mobility of our hips and the strength of our core to help us get back to our feet so that we could be doing other things with our hands. This does not have to be just activity-specific preparedness. This can also be practiced as general physical preparedness for normal people who are not involved in wrestling type sports. Being able to get up off the ground without the use of your hands is a basic human skill, and we are just adding weight to that to help keep us more and more honest with it. Jack the weight up, get better and better and better at it, get our core and our body to fire in all these different ways, which are just plain old natural human movement.